I love to do English paper piecing as handwork. And when I go somewhere or when I'm watching TV, it's my favorite type of handwork to do sewing. And so here's my little sewing box that I use when I'm watching TV, and I have everything in it. So as you can see, I'm making a part of a flower. And pardon me, I do this because I can do it anytime on the go. I don't have to worry about having a lot of fabric on my lap or anything, and it's easy to see. When I get one of these done, I usually take them and put them in this box. And this is my flower, English paper piecing flower box. And as you can see, I get several together. These are, I don't know, I try to do different colors. And then I have them here to decide what I am going to use them for. And it's very easy when I have extra time to cut my hexies, have them all ready. When I finish with one thing in my sewing box, I just grab another hunk of fabrics and we're ready to go. So this stays in the sewing room. These are in the sewing room in this box. And then when I have a need for a flower, I can go in and find one. When I have a need for a flower is when I have a friend or someone who has had something horrible happen in their lives. A husband has died, a grandchild is very sick. You know, some sort of horrible thing has happened. And so I will go in and find a flower and try to find something that I think that they might like. And then find a background. And I put the flower on I applique the flower on the background with the leaves. These leaves are pieced, foundation paper piece. And a little bit of rickrack. And then I put some beads and buttons on it. And the nice thing about these is I put a little label on the back which says, "Thinking of you, this wall hug has been made expressly for you to bring you a bit of joy and cheerfulness," and then made by and the date. So when I get this finished, I can fold it up and put it in I usually put it in a little plastic bag, but then I can put it in a USPS mailer and send it to my friend. And I have sent them all over the United States. The idea came about because a cousin of mine lived in Texas and developed cancer, and I thought, I can't make her a whole quilt. It's too much to mail, but I can do something like this. So now, this is a very easy, quick way for me to make somebody feel better, and so I really have fun doing it. Sometimes I get a few too many flowers built up, and I have sent out a lot of these. It's a lot. I do have a pattern for it, for these, which is called Flower Hugs for Walls or Table. You can make table placemats, or you can make a table runner. So that's the pattern for these. But still, even though I've made these and done that, I still have too many flowers to do. I don't like to put them all together, so I think what is a great idea for me is to figure out a way that I can put them on a quilt. And that way is applique. But I don't want to applique them on blocks necessarily. Instead, I would like to applique them with a pieced background. So this is a background that's pieced, black and white, and then I added these flowers on with machine applique, and I think it's a good way to use up your flowers. It's not difficult to think of a easy pieced background. You could use just half square triangles, you could just use strips, something that's going to be in the background and will still show off your flowers. Now this one is a pattern. I do have a pattern for this. It's called Blooming Outside the Box. And the quilting on it is just gorgeous. Especially, well, you just have to see it close up. In each of these flowers, the gal that did it is named Vicki Smith. And she put little circles in each outside. Oh, it's just the most beautifully quilted quilt. And I think that's one of the main things I like about it. I said after I finished that maybe I had put too many on here, but hey, if you've got them and they're just sitting around, you might as well throw them on the top of a quilt. So another example of this kind of thing, using English paper piecing and a simple background, is on the wall over here. This quilt is called, I forget what this one's called. Let me look and see the name. Oh, it's called Flower Shower. That's right. Again, I used a simple background of whites and grays, and then I found this wonderful gray chunky rickrack, so I thought that would be like stems, and those are just flowers on stems, no leaves. The same idea, simple background, but this one I think I pieced them in long strips, and then I could put the flowers on each strip. So when I pieced it, this was all one strip. I could piece these together, and then I didn't have to have a whole lot of quilt in the machine. So it's a great idea if you like to do English paper piecing. You don't have to put them all together. If you think of a simple background that you can use whatever and just applique your... Now when I applique the flowers on, I use a simple blanket stitch, and if you go with matching thread, or on some of my things I use a little bit of decorative thread because it makes it look a little nicer. But it's not hard to do. Anybody can do it, and I think it's a great way to use up some of your flowers, perhaps. It's a great way to put yourself, to design something that you like, and it's not that hard to do, and make a really pretty quilt too. Thank you.